Well, for more on this, let's bring in New York Congressman Lee Zeldin. Congressman, thanks for joining me.
Great to be with you.
So Biden's obviously going to talk up his agenda tomorrow. He's going to be talking about how he's governing in the interest of the nation. But we are seeing, aren't we, one of the most radical, progressive first 100 days that we've seen in a very long time.
No doubt. And as you're talking about the mandate, by the size of the margins of the presidential election in November 2020, the margin of the House and the Senate right now with the majorities, there's the other aspect of why President Biden doesn't have a mandate to do this, is that he chose a basement strategy of a campaign where he wasn't coming out to the public, answering the tough questions and saying, if you elect me, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go pack the court. I'm going to be okay with the filibuster changing and D.C. statehood. And what we're seeing in the name of an infrastructure bill or a COVID relief bill, which should be bipartisan, we're going to use it to fill up with our liberal wish list. So they don't have a mandate from the numbers from last November. They also don't have he doesn't have a mandate, and his administration doesn't have a mandate because they didn't say that this is what he would do if he was elected.
Right, exactly. And he actually won, first of all, he won the Democratic primary, in part specifically because he wasn't a progressive, an extreme progressive like Elizabeth Warren. And then, as you say, Congressman, he went through the campaign denying that he was a radical. He laughed about it. He said, come on, man. He kept saying, I'm no radical. I'm the old familiar Joe Biden. And now we have a very radical presidency. Axios is reporting, for example, it's the unspoken Biden formula. Talk like a rosy bipartisan, act like a ruthless partisan. What do you think?
Yeah, during the inauguration, he was talking about unity and healing. And it's clear that the version of compromise that the Democrats and President Biden have in mind is a version of compromise where you agree with them 100% of the time. They're going to put their ideas to the floor in the House and the Senate. You can vote for it or not, Republicans, but don't think that you're going to be actively involved at all in actually crafting the legislation. So that's not really compromise. That's not common ground. That's not unity. And not only is this contradicting the way he ran his campaign, it also contradicts the main theme of his inauguration address.
And you wonder, Congressman, whether Democrats might start to get, some moderate Democrats might get concerned. I noticed today that James Carville, former Bill Clinton's strategist, of course, told Vox, quote, wokeness is a problem and everyone knows it. He was quite dismissive about the radical way in which this administration is going and saying it's going to store up trouble for them.
Yeah, Americans are furious right now. They're seeing it with the censorship of big tech, the lying coverage and the covering up by many inside of the media, present company excluded, of course. They're upset with what we're seeing in grade schools with the critical race theory, the indoctrination in higher ed, where if you take the liberal policy position in your essay that you would be in line to get a higher score than taking the contrarian view, where what we should be doing in education is teaching, not brainwashing, and allowing critical independent thinking, and you can take whatever position you want. So we're seeing in our schools, we're seeing the policies coming out of Congress, in the media, big tech, and the average American realizes that they are being triangulated and that their values are under attack, and that in many ways the average American feels like they are being targeted by this wokeness for cancellation.